Hello everyone, I have another video for you today. I have two stories for you. I hope you enjoy. Here is the title to the first story. I wasn't supposed to be born. My family's secret changed my life. I always thought my family was normal. A little distant maybe, but normal. My parents were quiet people who kept to themselves, and my older sister, Emma, was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. I was just the afterthought, the younger sibling who was always a step behind. But last week, I found out the truth. And I don't think I'll ever recover from it. It started with a funeral. My grandmother passed away, and my family gathered at her old house for the wake. It was a small affair, just immediate family and a few close friends. The house smelled of dust and old books, the kind of place where secrets linger in the corners. I never felt particularly close to my grandmother. She was kind but distant, always treating me like a guest rather than her own blood. I thought it was just her way. But looking back, maybe she knew something. After the service, my parents asked Emma and me to help sort through some of Grandma's belongings. She had a lifetime's worth of things crammed into her attic: boxes of letters, old clothes, family albums. It felt like we were sifting through history, peeling back layers of time. Then I found the photo. It was buried under a pile of yellow newspapers, hidden in a box labeled private. The picture was old, black and white, the edges curled from age. It showed a family, 2 parents and 2 children, a boy and a girl. I recognized my parents immediately. Though they were younger, their smiles brighter. The little girl was unmistakably Emma, maybe 6 years old. But the boy standing next to her wasn't me. I stared at the photo, my heart pounding. I wasn't in it. "Hey Emma," I called, holding it up. "Who is this?" She looked over my shoulder, and the moment she saw it, her face drained of color. "Where did you find that?" "In this box," I said slowly. "Who is he?" Emma grabbed the photo and shoved it back into the box, slamming the lid shut. "It's nothing," she said quickly. "Just an old picture. Forget about it." Her reaction only made me more suspicious. "Emma, tell me." She looked at me, her jaw tight. "Just leave it alone." But I couldn't. Something about the photo gnawed at me, a feeling in my gut that something was deeply wrong. So that night, when everyone was asleep, I went back into the attic. I dug through the box, pulling out more photos, old letters, anything that might give me answers. And then I found it, a birth certificate. My breath caught in my throat as I read the name. It wasn't mine. It was for a boy named Michael, born 5 years before me. Same last name. Same parents. I wasn't the second child. I was the third. The next morning, I confronted my parents. I stormed into the kitchen, the birth certificate in my shaking hands. "Who is Michael?" My mother's face went pale. My father set down his coffee with a clatter. Emma stood frozen in the doorway, her eyes pleading with me to stop. "Where did you find that?" my mother whispered. "In the attic," I snapped. "Why have you never told me I had a brother?" They didn't answer. They just sat there, looking at me like I was a ticking bomb. "Tell me," I shouted. Finally, my father sighed. "Michael was our firstborn." "Was?" My chest tightened. "What happened to him?" Silence. Then my mother's voice, barely above a whisper. "He died." I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. "How?" No one answered. My parents just stared at the table. Emma clenched her fists, looking like she wanted to scream. "Tell him," she said through gritted teeth. "Tell him what you did." I turned to her, confused. "What are you talking about?" She looked at me, her eyes filled with something I couldn't place: rage, sorrow, guilt. "They didn't tell you the truth. They were never going to." Emma stopped. My father said sharply. "No," she shot back. "He deserves to know." I looked between them, my stomach twisting. "Know what?" Emma swallowed hard. Then she said the words that changed everything. "Michael didn't die in an accident. He was murdered." I don't remember sitting down, but suddenly, I was in a chair, my whole body shaking. "What?" My mother buried her face in her hands. My father stared at the floor. Either of them denied it. Emma took a deep breath. "It was our uncle. Mom's brother. He was sick. Dangerous. They knew it. They knew what he was capable of, but they let him near us anyway. Tears welled in her eyes, but she pushed through. One night, he was babysitting us. Mom and Dad were out. When they came back, Michael was gone. I could barely breathe. Gone? My father finally spoke, his voice hoarse. We found him in the woods behind the house. But it was too late. My heart pounded in my ears. Why didn't you ever tell me? Because, my mother choked out. We wanted to forget. Emma let out a bitter laugh. Forget? You didn't forget. You just erased him. You never spoke his name. You threw away his things. And then you had another kid and pretended he never existed. She turned to me, her voice breaking. That's why they kept their distance from you. That's why Grandma never looked at you the same way she looked at me. You were never supposed to be here. I felt sick. I had spent my whole life feeling like I didn't quite fit. Like something was always off in my family. And now I knew why. I wasn't born out of love. I was born out of fear and sadness. Them wanting to forget. I was born to be a replacement, but it never worked for my family. I left that day and haven't spoken to my parents since. Emma called me later, apologizing for how it all came out, but I told her she had nothing to be sorry for. I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know how to look in the mirror and not wonder if I was just filling a hole left by someone else. If my parents ever really loved me, or if I was just a way for them to pretend their biggest mistake never happened. All I know is that I'll never forgive them for keeping this from me, and that I'll never stop saying my brother's name, Michael. That is the end of the first story. Why is that the parents' reaction to losing their child? I guess people consume trauma differently, however, that just seems wrong to me. Let's get to the next story. Here is the title: Betrayed by Blood, the Family That Turned on Me. Hey, Reddit. I never thought I'd be writing one of these, but here I am, pouring my soul out to strangers on the internet. Maybe it's because I need someone, anyone, to tell me I'm not crazy. Or maybe I just need to hear that I'm not alone. I'll start from the beginning. I grew up in a tight-knit family. It was I, 23M, my brother Jared, 28M, and my parents, 48M and 46F. We weren't rich, but we were happy. At least, that's what I thought. Jared was the golden boy, charming, athletic, smart. He was the kind of guy who could get away with anything, and my parents adored him for it. Meanwhile, I was just there. The younger, quieter one. The kid people forgot in group photos. Still, I loved my brother. Even when he teased me, even when he took credit for my ideas, even when he broke my things and laughed it off, I loved him. He was my brother, and brothers stick together. That's what Mom always said. Then, about 6 months ago, things started to change. My dad got sick, really sick. Cancer. It hit us like a wrecking ball. He was our rock, and suddenly, he was fragile, weak, slipping away. Mom went into full-on caregiver mode, and Jared disappeared. At first, I made excuses for him. He was busy with work. He was dealing with his own grief. He'd show up eventually. But he didn't. Not once. I was the one sitting beside Dad's hospital bed. I was the one holding Mom when she broke down. I was the one handling the paperwork, the bills, the endless stream of doctors and bad news. And Jared? Jared was posting vacation photos in Bali. I called him. Over and over. No answer. I left messages, begged him to come home. Nothing. Then, one day, I got a text. Hey man. Sorry I've been gone. I'll be home soon. I should have been relieved. Instead, I felt rage boil inside me. He wasn't just some guy. He was our family. How could he abandon us like this? But when he finally did come home, things somehow got worse. Jared waltzed into the house like he owned the place, grinning like he was some kind of hero returning from war. Hey, little bro, he said, clapping me on the shoulder. Miss me? I wanted to punch him. Instead, I swallowed the anger and asked where he'd been. His answer? I needed time to clear my head. Time to clear his head? While Dad was dying, I didn't say anything. I just walked away. I couldn't even look at him. But over the next few days, I noticed something strange. Jared wasn't just back. He was taking over. He sat with Dad like he'd never left. He made coffee for Mom in the mornings, cracking jokes like old times. And Mom? She forgave him instantly, of course. It was like all those months of abandonment didn't matter. He was still the golden boy, and I was still just me. But then, the real betrayal came. One evening, while Dad was asleep, Mom called me into the kitchen. She had this look on her face, tight-lipped, nervous. Jared was standing beside her, arms crossed. "We've been talking," Mom said softly. "We think it would be best if you moved out." I blinked. "What?" Jared nodded. "Yeah, man. You've been under a lot of stress. Maybe getting your own place would help you clear your head." I laughed, an ugly, bitter sound. "Are you kidding me? I've been the one taking care of everything. And you want me to leave?" Mom's hands twisted together. "It's not like that. Jared he has some ideas on how to handle things, and it would be easier if I was gone." I finished it for her. Jared put a hand on my shoulder, and I nearly shoved it off. "Look, we'll help you out. We've been thinking about selling the house, anyway. There's no reason for you to be stuck here." Selling the house. The house Dad was still living in. The house where we grew up. I turned to Mom, my voice shaking. "And Dad? Does he know about this?" She looked away. That was answer enough. I stormed out. I didn't even know where I was going. I just needed to breathe, to think. The betrayal cut deeper than I thought possible. I had spent months keeping this family together, and now they were throwing me away like I was nothing. Like I was trash. But I wasn't going to let it happen. Not without a fight, so I started digging. And what I found. I still don't know how to process it. Jared hadn't just been off clearing his head. He'd been meeting with lawyers. With real estate agents. He wasn't just planning to sell the house. He was planning to take everything. Mom's accounts, Dad's accounts, the insurance money, all of it. Every penny to the family name. And here's the worst part. Mom knew. She knew, and she was letting him do it. I confronted her the next day, shoving the printed emails and bank statements in her face. "How could you let him do this?" I shouted. "Dad's still alive!" Mom's eyes filled with tears. "It's complicated." "No, it's not. You're choosing him over me." She didn't deny it. Jared walked in then, saw the papers in my hands, and smirked. "Well, guess the cat's out of the bag." I lost it. I lunged at him, my fist colliding with his face. I wanted to hurt him, to make him feel even a fraction of the pain he'd caused me. But Mom screamed, and the next thing I knew, she was pulling me off of him, sobbing, and begging me to stop. Jared wiped the blood from his lip and grinned. "You always were the hothead." That was it. That was the moment I realized I didn't have a family anymore. I packed my things that night. Before I left, I went to see Dad. He was asleep, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. I whispered goodbye, knowing it might be the last time I get to talk to him, and then I walked out of that house for good. But here's the weird part. The part that still keeps me up at night. A week after I left, Jared called me. Not Mom. Jared. I almost ignored it, but something in my gut told me to answer. His voice was shaking. "He's gone." For a second, I thought he meant Dad. But then he said, "Mom. She collapsed. Doctors said it was a heart attack." I felt nothing. Just numb. I should have been sad, but all I could think was, why now? Then Jared whispered, "I don't think it was natural." I froze. "What?" "I don't think it was her heart. I think Dad did something." And just like that, the world tilted beneath me. Because Dad, weak, frail, dying Dad, had been a chemist. A damn good one. And if anyone knew how to make something look like a natural death, it was definitely him. I haven't gone back since. I don't think I ever will. But sometimes, late at night, I wonder, did Dad know what they were planning? Did he hear them talking? And if he did he do something about it? A part of me wishes I talked to him longer than I did, but I didn't want to put him through more pain. I try not to think about it. I guess I'll never know what really happened. That is the end of the story. I was not expecting that ending. I'm not sure if the dad really poisoned the mom, but I guess it's possible. There is a link in the description for my Reddit stories playlist. Go watch them if you like. I hope you enjoyed the stories. Have a great day.